Hello, welcome back. Don't these weeks just fly by? They're like, oh my gosh, we are already end of April, heading into May. Well, we know it, it's going to be the end of the year, and all this stuff's going to be coming out in droves. I hope you are all enjoying the moon energy. Wow, it has been a walloping one. So, if you're new to understanding that, if you're feeling irritated, frustrated, angry, you just want to punch somebody, that is the depths of your soul that is cleansing and cleaning and moving imprints. Yes, yes, yes. So it's going to actually go energetically, you can see, for about a week. So be kind to yourself, be patient. I know I have candles burning, incense burning, the anointing now oils that I use all the time. Many of you know, you're familiar with them. I'm getting them on the website. Yes, soon you can get them through the office. But yeah, I'm not going without them. Lots of salt baths. You'll want to do a lot of grounding right now, because this is about ripping off a whole other layer of truth, as well as we go into the next few, um, definitely the next few years, well into 2025. So call-in show, we are back as a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. Hopefully I got that right. We'll be doing a call-in show this week and next week as well. So don't have any worries on that. If we don't get to you today, please call in early next week as well. I'm cold. I'm very cold today. It's cold where I live. So if you can see me, I'm in a turtleneck. I need some sun. I'm missing my holidays where I live. We're pretty locked down. So I'm missing the plane rides and the holidays and seeing people for sure. My liver is doing a fast for a couple of days. My Evolutionary Academy Mastermind, we do them every week together if people want to join. So when you're fasting and cleaning, your liver purges many different things, not just toxins, but emotionally, mentally as well. So, I always am so grateful. I'm so grateful to our academies. The evolutionary is like what I call it, the really intense version of the miraculous. But you know what? I don't know why I'm going to tell you guys this, but I took a lot of masterminds myself, and it was like, okay, that's great. You talk for an hour a week, and you kind of get to know the people. And I'm like, I don't want it like that. I want to be engaged with these people every day. And our hour calls are like 2 hour calls, whether we're dealing with God connection or health or money or whatever it is. And then, you have like these hundreds of connections and messages all day long. And that's what we need in the world. So I'm so grateful to all of our communities, no matter where you are, because we do need this right now. We need this more than ever. I wrote a few things down. I did get the moon energy, so that was good. Soul Sundays, yes, they're coming back. There will be, I know a lot of people had asked, are you going to put them up a little bit more in advance? And they will be. So bear with me. A lot going on. We're getting ready to, this summer, hopefully at the latest, launch a second book to help everybody, the prayer blessing books. So that would be fabulous. And you can have that to help you say your prayers and shift your energy and keep it in your pocket with you. So we're always building and creating, which I love. Today's show that I really wanted to emphasize, and I wrote this down, I wrote it in the heading, is how many people are just blindfully doing what with no questions. I love questions. Somebody in my Evolutionary Academy asked that. They said sometimes they get irritated by questions. People have so many questions. And I said, well, you want questions, because when you have questions and people are coming to you with questions, it means they trust in what you're saying and they want to know your perspective, and you should celebrate that. Questions is the way we learn and we grow, and you don't always have to agree with the answer, but if you're not asking the question, then how are you growing? How are you shifting? And so I put these two things down, like, when people are out in the world, it's your body. And I always say this, if you know my story, I lived on a lot of toxins and a lot of medicines for a long time, and I got off everything. My body is a better healer than anything of its own right with spirit, but we're not taught it. So it becomes more difficult. So we do need the two systems to keep moving for sure. But you wonder how many people are blindly going, just putting things in their body and then they have a reaction and then they don't question it or they do, well, that's the way it's supposed to be. No, your body. So whether it's food, whether it's toxins, medicine, thoughts, processes, these can all work as toxins to the body. So you'll have a reaction. Now, if it's a mental shift or a spiritual shift, so you're going from maybe asleep to awake, your body can violently react. People don't realize that, like it can, because it's the old pattern really, really, really wants to hold on, right? So it can make you angry and you're like, why am I getting triggered? Because your body is just releasing the old to go to a higher vibration, which is what you want. So it's interesting. We look in the world right now and people, well, just because I told that without a lot of research or understanding what's for your body. I'm not saying that, good, better, and different, but you know, this one size fits all, or, you might hear it in dieting. People are always like, oh, eat this way or eat that way. Yet you're eating that way. Or maybe you're using oils. Like I use anointing oils. That's what I was talking about at the top of the hour. Because they're external and their connection and their vibration connection to the God of your understanding, and they increase your energetic field. If I'm using other kind of oils, I'm very, very discerning. People can have lots of reactions, and how are you using them, and are you overusing them, stuff like that. But you see it with food, people will think nuts are good for them. They eat way too many nuts and wonder why their body is overreacting, but they don't equate it. Or I have with me a huge sensitivities now because I've had no pharmaceuticals whatsoever in my body for many, many, many years. Thank you, God. You can take that too. It has violent reactions. I remember, I'll tell this story to you guys, is on my journey. So this is probably about 10 years ago. So probably about the last time I really had anything in my system. And you are meant to, don't worry guys, if you have like, it's not bad to have certain things like that in your body. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not anti any of that. I'm not at all. I think there's a time and a place for it, for sure. And anyways, I had super, super stress, and I had this breakout on my face, and that was rare for me, and it couldn't get it going. I was at this time period of a huge upheaval. Like I moved across the country, and where I live in Canada, like the East and the West are very divided. They're very different people. I came from the West to the East. And the East is like, I finally was like, wow, this is where all the government is. This is where the sleepy people are. And God, why are you bringing me out here? Like it was really, I probably took a good year and a half to settle in, because there were so many people that have been indoctrined into systems without questioning or looking at a different point of view, and their automatic reaction was, well, if you don't have this education, you're not worthy. Or if you don't have, that is so much nonsense. Anybody listening, never buy that lie. Or if you don't have, if you're a blue collar worker, then you're not worth. What a lie, like it's such so many lies. So anyways, I was in this big stress move of moving, and I had this outbreak. So I went to the dermatologist. I said, energetically, I just couldn't shift it because I knew my system was overloaded. It really was. That's the time. So I said, is there anything sort of topical? Because my friend had asked me to do a photo shoot for her to help her with her business. And so you didn't want that on your face. Anyway, so thank God I was so in tune, because it was a long time ago still at that time. Now it's like totally different, and we can move that stuff fairly quick. And he gave me a medicine. I don't remember what it was, but he says, like, take this for 40 days and it should completely, and it wasn't the standard, whatever. And I said, well, I don't really do well with medicine. And he's like, well, it should go away. Anyway, so I was on it for 2 days, and I was having these incredible thoughts of suicide. Like, I'm talking like, this is it, like, not me. And I was able right away. I'm like, this is not me. This is a medicine. Body's rejecting it. Now the whole face had cleared up within about 24 hours. So imagine 40 days. People don't question. So my body started to react. And a lot of you know my story. The first time I had my near-death experience, well, one of my near-death experiences, I was at the hospital and they injected me with medicine and I flatlined. Had I not been at the hospital, I would never have come back. So I flatlined and they had to crash cart me. So again, people don't question, well, why are we putting these things? So where are you just blindfully, and you see this, people just putting stuff in their body. Food, right? You have a big reaction. Look at how many people keep eating sugar or keep drinking coffee when they know their body isn't reacting well. And this is what I really want to talk about, because when we are so your body is always talking to you. And it's always saying to you, like, okay, look, something, that's how it communicates. Something isn't right. It's not about shaming yourself at all. So when that incident happened with the face, and I was having major depression, suicide thoughts within like a matter of a couple hours, a lot of times people say, keep taking the medicine, keep taking the medicine. I went off of it. I called the dermatologist and he said, oh my God, like these medicines display, I don't know how many hundreds of side effects. You have like all of them, get off of it now. How's your face? I said, it's clean. And what people don't understand is our bodies are all unique. So if you're not used to putting a lot of junk in your body, it will react when junk gets put in the body. And so this is also emotional, right? Like how many times have you had emotional thoughts and you're just taking them in, or somebody, maybe it's on TV or maybe it's music and they're saying things that are so toxic and so out of kindness to people, and your body's reacting. Like even your cell phone, right? If I my cell phones, I have these covers. I have multiple ones for work and stuff like that, but they're all like, they have special covers that flip over them with the massive EMF things, because my body is so sensitive to all the electronics that we work on, just like now, right? That I got to keep as much of it out, or my body feels if I'm around it too much, I'm integrated to it. But if I was on it like 10 hours a day, my body would start to shut down because it just feels that it doesn't like it, right? It starts to react. It starts to feel like it's had too much coffee. So I really today, like I want you to encourage you to go out in the world before we get into the phone lines, and to go out in the world and start to look at, like, where are you just randomly putting these toxins, thoughts, or food, and you haven't paid attention. Like I said, sugar. How many times people go back to sugar, yet when you eat sugar, and I'm not saying don't, like I like it once in a while too. Like, don't kid yourself. Sometimes I'm doing a detox. Oh, got some there. I'm doing a detox and my liver flushes and it wants a little piece of chocolate. So I get it some good chocolate and it likes it, right? Or right, like I was saying, with the evolutionary mastermind group, we do weekly detoxes together, and sometimes I'm extra cold. So, and then sometimes after it does want a piece of that. I don't gorge on it and the body doesn't feel sick. Whereas, you go to ice cream shot sometimes, and that, don't give me that ice cream tastes amazing going down, and you're tired and you're bloated and you're like, if your body reacts that way. So what happens also is the body, when you stop listening to it, and it puts a lot of these systems in, whether it is medicine or whether it is like too much, there's too much, like there is a balance, or thought process or food or whatever it is. um, when you're not listening to the body and you're not listening to those signals, the energetic systems of the body start to disconnect. So every organ has a function and every organ is communicating on some level. And people forget that. And they don't remember, they're not taught it in school. So that's why I love to teach it in my community, because every organ has a filter and every organ has a purpose. And that's why over time, more people get sick in the latter part of their life, because all of these toxins are just blindfully going in. Okay, my employer says to do that, so I'm going to do it. Okay, there's donuts here every day, so I'm going to eat them. And I might sound like I'm just wanting you to understand how much these toxins affect your ability to connect. Like the reason I've been with fasting and stuff, even in I'm not saying it's for everybody, and you got to do what's right for you guys, but because of my experience going through the bad C cells all those years ago, I call them the C cells, the bad C cells. You can put you know what those are. It's a huge disease in the world. With the Chinese doctor teaching me and helping me understand, and how the good cells, bad cells. So I listen to my body though. If I'm doing a fast and I'm really dizzy or not feeling well, or I'm doing a purge, well, I stop it. Like I stop it. I'm okay, body, you need some food or you need something different. But I'm so connected to what my body needs. And this is what I want to open you guys up to, because if you're connected to what your body needs, you'll start to also go around and go, okay, my environment needs to shift. So if your environment is filled with toxins and you're blindly just going into it, well, it's my environment. Well, those toxins of those people, or maybe it's the actual place, too much clutter can be too much toxins into the body. All of these things disconnect the pathways to the organs functioning, and it disconnects your connection to God. Why do you think there's so many thyroid problems? There's so much in the world because of the toxins in the water. And then it's also to decrease your connection to the God of your understanding. Look what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot of energy that's being put out there. Say no, 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 because this year, this is why the moon energy has been so intense. And this week is because that energy this year is skyrocketing. It's pushing to levels we've never seen before for your manifestation, for your connection, which scares dark energy, which scares the elite, which scares the people that want you to be their slaves, because they're like, no, so more toxins in the body. And the more toxins, why do you think, like where I live, everything's locked out? It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, if you understand or read any science, it is the most ridiculous thing in the world. You can't even buy socks and underwear, not essential, but you can buy them off Amazon, right? So you can go and you can get some food, but it's beyond common sense if you actually look at the numbers and look at what's happening. And so anyways, when you start to look at all those toxins and how they come into your body, and those thoughts and those processes, and they interfere with your system, they interfere with your body. And now the whole narrative around everybody needs to do this, yet we have again, so why are we putting the toxins in our body? What is the real reason? What is the reason? So when the elite and when these energies get afraid, that is why there's so much stuff put in our food. That's why there's so much stuff put in medicines. And that is why, so as I was saying, spirit went this way, but I want to bring it back. Where I live, you can go get weed, no problem, 24/7. I don't do weed. No, thank you. I will not, I don't do drugs, will totally disconnect your system. Even if you think they're good for you, I'll tell you, the vibration of them is very low. And there's a lot of great people who've done studies. You can go get booze 24/7, and you can get cigarettes. All of these are created addictions to put more toxins in the body to decrease your connection. And now there's more, that's why there's more awareness to say now, oh, now we want you to take this, even though it doesn't warrant really what's happening. And again, more toxins. And I have to say, there's more toxins in that, in what they're doing with medicines and stuff now than I've ever seen before. It's usually pretty easy to move toxins out of people's bodies, but it's getting pretty intense. So across the board. So I really thank that hand of God, and hope that the people that are listening are going to stop saying, why am I blindfully doing this? I really want you to say to your family or friends, with anything, like, why are you blindfully just doing that? Why do you have that habit? Why do you have that addiction? And talk to them and have a conversation. Don't berate them. Don't beat them up. There's a choice. There's a pattern of everybody. But to expand that awareness and say, did you ever think maybe if you got off that, then this would start to shift? How can I help you? Like, be there, support, a help, but never shame anyone for not knowing. Like, a lot of people right now get up, oh, they're so 3D. Like, I hate it when I hear that, because you know what, they're learning. We were all 3D and asleep, all of us, every one of us that tuned into this show, we were asleep, and thank God there was someone there to pick us up and help us and show us the way. And an angel will always be sent in. So it's absolutely amazing. And your relatives that have passed, they are helping you like I've never seen before. We did a connection on Soul Sundays with people that had passed in our lives, and people were just bawling. I was bawling. And anybody that was there, you saw that. And they're here to help us more, and they can help us. And you get the vibration high enough, and you stop blindly just doing something, and you have awareness around why you're doing something, your body will repair, restore, and regenerate at a light speed that you didn't even feel was possible. So that's the great thing that's happening. So I just, it was just, spirit was on my heart today to just say, like, we got to stop. That's the one thing we got to stop doing, is just blindly doing it just because. Like, I saw on a post today, this lady had gone through a very well-known drive-through, very well-known, and she got a pamphlet in her meal, and now they're like throwing pamphlets trying to dictate to people what to do. And you're a sovereign being, you're a child of God, and you're allowed to have a lot of these freedoms, and you don't need to have them taken away. And so I hope you'll trust and stay on the path. There's a lot of truth coming out, a lot of truth. We've had a lot in Canada that's not on mainstream, but it's going to come out on mainstream. They're still hiding it, but it is there. You can see what the courts are ruling, and they're ruling in the favor of you. So there's some really good people that are still up there that are with us for many reasons. So that's my little rant this morning. Thank you, God. In my turtleneck, where, it is, like I said, May, I should be able to I'm a huge sun worshiper, so I do not live in the right place at all. It'll be time to move. So you got to get all the family on board, right? And otherwise, I wouldn't live where I live. It's where it is. All right. Thank you, God. So, no blindly just doing something or taking something. And when your body's reacting, ask why. Why? And if you put something in your system and it's reacting, then you know there's a big problem. You know there's a big problem. And I'm one of those people that I know my body reacts and I know what my body likes and I know what it doesn't like. So um, just think about that and how you can position that to somebody else. All right, Olivia, we're going to hit the phone lines. We're not going to take a break today. So we will go to Maria from Denver first, if she's still there.
Yeah, let's see. Maria from Denver. Maria, you are on with Tracy L Clark.
Is she there?
Maria, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
there you are. Hi,
Can you hear me?
Maria.
Hi.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
How are you today?
Good. I have just what you've been talking about in terms of what's going on in the body. I've been having this intense reaction in my intestines, in my stomach, for about a month. And I'm wondering, and it feels like it's also correlated with this like kind of gripping feeling in my chest or in my lungs, and I'm sure it's fear. I've been working on it a lot inside myself, and I'm wondering how I'm doing with it and what you see.
Yeah, this is really good. So the intestines and the stomach, and everybody listening, if you haven't tuned into when we shift energy together, just stay open. You can take as many shifts as you want, focus on what you want shifted, even if it's in a different part of the body, the soul, the spirit. So there is inflammation. You've been doing a good job. Don't worry about that. It's more sitting in the large intestine. Some of the burping energy is also very connected to the body wanting to release, but it looks stuck, like it doesn't know which way to go. So we can shift that. It's external stress into the body. There's also, hang on a second, let's put some energy within the large intestines, which might meet some pressure onto your heart. And that's a lot of, so the processing system, which is your stomach. So as it's going through the large intestine, it looks like it's getting stuck like a backed up pipe of the processing system of the energy that's external that you're just working through, you're seeing. But there's also, I can start to open that up and calm that part of the system down. Thank you, God. But I'm going to open up the root a little bit further so we can redirect the energy of the body rather than it getting backed up. So it's almost like if you read something or you're dealing with family or friends and you feel like you're forced to swallow that energy or that thought process or the belief system, which a lot of empaths are right now because of the mainstream media, not so much when they're out of it, or the mainstream narrative. It feels like it's forced to swallow. And when we're forced to swallow an energy like that, one of the things when you're hearing it, you want to say, like, I'm not consenting to that. And just allow your body, you can talk to the body to command it to be strong, to release it and let it go. Because the stomach area, the entire organs that make up your whole digestive area, is processing of life. So when anything in a basic nutshell gets backed up in that area, it's saying, where am I, all you need to ask is, where am I having a hard time processing what's going on in my daily life, internally and externally? So I can adjust that. What comes up for you when I say that? How does that feel?
Oh, well, I feel relief when you say you're going to help me. Relief.
Yeah.
So much has been coming up.
Yeah.
And like I said, I guess I haven't been staying current enough with it. I haven't been able to stay on top of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're doing good. Like, I actually feel very nauseous in your system. So what I'm going to do, like in my whole stomach, when I'm in there, I'm like, oh, I feel so nauseous. What I'm just going to do is settle that down a little bit. And like I said, we're just going to point it to go like out. I'd like ideally the elimination system is the easiest, but if the body wants to burp it up, that's okay too. And then the muscles can relax, the organs can relax. And I'm just going to put a little bit of, safety with moving forward. So safety with growing, safety with change. Oh, it's safety with change. Okay, hang on. We'll put safety with change into the intestine. So as your world is changing, as everybody's is right now, this is the biggest change we're going through. We're just going to increase the safety. How does your body feel now?
I feel calmer. I didn't quite hear what you said. Safety with what?
Change.
Change. Oh, yeah.
Change.
Yes.
So there's a lot of change, but your body has a high, like it looks like your body has a more heightened sensitivity with change. It looks like it's long. It would be like the size of your index finger, but it's all prickly. So I've got to dissolve that energy out. And it's all the accumulations of many lifetimes where you've had change and it never worked in the direction you wanted. So that's what we're moving on, the imprints. So versus when that sits in there, then your body will just naturally on a subconscious level be looking for the change not to go in the direction you would like. And then that creates blocks in the body and the energy field.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. Good
And
job.
how do you see that related to this like clenching in my breathing? Like sometimes when I'm meditating or whenever, I'm not able to fully let go to my breath.
Yeah. And that's always why when the breath, so the breathing in life, when the breath gets short, that's where you actually take about 3 to 5 really deep breaths. And as you blow out really hard, like make sure you blow out really hard, and you got to command the energy to release and let go, release and let go. Now you can tap the lungs, both lungs at the same time, and then pull that energy down. But what I'm going to do is we're just going to command the lungs to also expand so you can get the breath. So when there's not safety in there, right, what do? We shallow breathe. So the stomach and the respiratory are having that conversation because they're friends, same with the reproductive and elimination system. So for everybody, we can expand the lungs and we'll expand the rib cage and we'll strengthen them. Thank you, God, on every level and layer to take the new breath of life, to breathe in, even if you're uncertain, to breathe in another level of trust. Take a deep breath.
You know, when I was very small, I had a large bedroom mirror fall on my back and I lost my breath and I was afraid I had died because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that life force.
Is that still lingering, that memory for me?
There's a part of that in there, but what's more lingering is just the reference of I can't breathe. And if we can't breathe, then we're no longer here, right? Our breath is the greatest thing we should ever be grateful for every day that we breathe, right? So I can readjust that for you and we'll put that into the lungs. That actually looks a lot better. There's a little bit of pink coming into the lungs. Hang on a sec. Just take a deep breath in your lungs and tell me how that feels.
It feels more open.
Yeah, it's opening now and it's expanding. So we'll just now adjust the right and the left and the left and the right. Good job. Well done. So what I would do is just command the lungs to expand and then reset, let go. Take the 5 deep breaths before you go into the meditation. You might start gagging or burping, but that's just the energy lifting out of the body. Okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
Well done. Have an incredible day and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day too. Bye.
You too. All right, we're going to go to Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
How are you?
Fabulous. How are you today?
You're like off in the distance. Like I can barely hear you.
Oh,
okay.
Well, tell me your question.
Well, among many things, but because it's on my mind right now, there is a varicose type of vein below on my right knee, and it comes and goes. And I ask it what it's trying to tell me, and it's not seeming to tell me very much, so I don't quite understand what's going on with it, among other things, but that is something that's hanging around. Hello?
Hang on. There we go.
There you
Sorry, I lost my mic.
Oh.
Okay.
It's like,
That's
talking to
okay.
myself?
I have venous engorgement. I was pregnant. It was so bad. I was black from head to toe. Veins are, there's a few things. So there is some hereditary imprinting that we can move. And I get veins. Well, when the vein starts to go weak and it starts to pop out like that, it also, I'm not on an energetic level, the blood flow, which is the oxygen, which is a life force energy, has a blockage. So it's usually always going back to the mother side, and it goes back to the blockage in the life force energy. So let's start to move that so we can strengthen the internal and external part of the vein. So the blood and the oxygen that you're breathing in, that you're taking in. There can be also with veins, when they start to pop out, there's hidden, known and unknown resentments that will go into the veins as well. And where we don't feel sturdy enough, strong enough in our own life. And those energies can come from many years back and pull forward. It's not always necessarily like right at this time. So let's start to collapse all of that energy out for you. And we'll recenter the right and the left side. So I'm just going to do a little bit of disconnection and cleanup between your mother and your father, just because the veins typically will come from the mom's side. There we go. And where that treatment was. And I'll just command that to go out of the body. Hang on there. Ooh. Oh, that's a big one. There's a lot of energy actually coming out behind your heart too. So let me just start to dump that. You don't need that there. That'll make you feel happier. That'll be good. Okay.
Well, I sure hope something is, because
yeah,
I feel like the world is on my last nerve.
On the last nerve, we'll pull that through. It's interesting because even with this moon, like I was saying, it was so intense. Most empaths are like, I'm running away for the next week. Yeah, it's when you look at the world and you're just.
When I tuned into you talking this morning, you're talking about the feeling of wanting to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Yes.
Yep. No, that's a very normal energy right now with what's shifting. It really is, even though people are like, oh, that's amazing, I'm not spiritual. It's like, actually, no, you need to acknowledge and let it go, because there's something within your system that is leaving, and then also external. And it's not uncommon. Like when we do this journey and people are like, oh, I have to be happy all the time. It's not uncommon to have that feeling, because the body, it'll hit like a wall sometimes and say, how do these people not see what they're doing to each other? And these are normal questions. Or how do they not see what is unfolding? Because once you wake up, you look at the world through a very different lens than somebody who hasn't. It's not a judgment, it's an observation. So it's not uncommon for empaths, especially for what we're transitioning through right now, to have those feelings. Because one, you go, well, it's better if we love each other and we're awake than being sleepy over there, because you know the difference. You know the difference for when you wake up versus from when you were asleep. Whereas an asleep person doesn't know what you know. So a lot of energy flying around. But I'm just going to calm. I'm going to actually change your chemical electrical frequency pattern and the sensory system. So let me just calm that down. And there's some energy on the just behind on your right shoulder as well. There's some masculine energy there. It looks stuck, very kind of, I'm going to call this not yours, very sort of snake-like energy that's stuck under there, which has been kind of energy pushed into you. So that's other people's thought patterns, especially on a male point of perspective. So let's collapse that out of the body. Yeah, you're ready to let that go. You've been shouldering that for a long time, which has also made you turn in going, well, what's wrong with me is kind of what they keep saying. So you would be more hard on yourself because of that implant that was in your system, but it looks like you're ready to let it go. So good job. It pulled to the surface.
Yes.
When you, good job. How's your body feel?
It feels okay. I think I feel more in my mind right now. My mind is just racing around and just wants to scream.
So there's a great exercise that I teach to get out of your mind into your heart. And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody can do it with me. It takes 2 minutes, but to get out of the mind. So we've been so conditioned with the mental space, and we can start to drain that out, and I can open some valves. But to drop out of the mind into the heart takes time because you're repatterning and reprogramming that we're not in the mind, we're in the heart. So what I say is you always close your eyes and you just visualize a beautiful, beautiful lake or water, just not rippling. It's just clear like glass water around the heart space. And from the mind, you see like a pebble, and you take that pebble and you bring it down and drop it in to the water of the heart, and you allow those ripples to just keep going. And that's the heart energy that takes out the information that is no longer serving you from the mind, bringing it back into the heart and sending that energy to infinity and beyond, to 20 billion light years and beyond, so that you can connect from the heart and less from the head. Thank you, God. That's the exercise I would do if I were you a couple times a day.
For sure. So so is it my mind that I guess I keep looking for this feeling in my heart space, that,
Yeah.
When you're filled with love.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to feel that for a very, very long time. And I wonder is it just my monkey mind going around saying, no, you don't, or I just
it's a programming because the early on, again, you really took the programming of the mental space as what, it means that's how I fit in. That means it's how I show up. And we do need the mental space for creativity and connection. But it became a very, like a big virus, which that's why I said we can start to pull that virus down, overthinking, over worrying, over analyzing. Thank you, God. Let's bind that, cast that, curse that out, remove that and strengthen the body, override it, impart it to feeling versus the overthinking, over worrying. And so that's how your mind races. Now it's making me tired. Your mind races to feel like kind of what's coming next or how am I fitting in? And so all that over analyzing is now exhausting you to the point where you're ready to now start to let it go. So I can just see there's a bunch of cutting happening here. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a very good thing.
I feel good overall about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I feel good overall. It's just these little things that feel like they've been there forever, and I just want to, give myself a lobotomy.
Yeah.
I know
well,
that's not the solution,
they're going
but
next level.
Like.
Yeah. There's also too, it looks like you'll get more, like you'll start doing things that are more joyous, but also you start to look like when you're out in the world, like I keep seeing these birds and animals and things, and they look very bright. Like you're going to start to see the colors of things shift. And that's the way Spirit's saying you're shifting. There's more joy and you look a lot more content. Like the body looks more like, wow, doesn't really matter what's there. I know who I am and I know what's happening right now. And that brings you more peace.
Well, I look forward to feeling that more for myself.
Yeah. Well, take it all in. You deserve it. Thank you for calling, and go and celebrate today. Okay. Lots of love.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Olivia, we're going to go to Griselle from Dubai.
Okay. Griselle from Dubai. Griselle, you are on with Tracy L Clark.
Hi, Griselle.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you today?
Good. I just want to say thank you for everything, all the support, all with everything.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you so much.
How's your body feeling? I'm going to do another shift for it, and I'm going to do another pull. So I'm going to open up your lymphatic system a little bit differently, if that's okay.
Thank you.
And I'm going to calm down your worry tummy because you are extremely sensitive in a good way. This is beautiful. Hang on. And interesting, there's an energy coming up. I'm really glad you called in, actually. There's an energy coming up. Past life energy of imprisonment. So this is coming through the veil. So where, and interesting because you look like in that lifetime, they're fairly clear. It was imprisonment. You were Asian in that lifetime. Hang on a second. Male. That's a very clear male energy. Hang on. but you're very sensitive. This imprisonment energy is coming through the veil, and I'm going to move it off. When that kind of energy shows up, it can make you sort of feel like you're in prison or beholden to outside people more than you actually are. So I'm going to move this off of you as we open the lymph system even more. And I'm going to increase the vibration of the body's restoration. And I'm going to put in a chemical detox into the body. I'm going to boost it up, and then we're going to just bring this down a little bit more. It is showing for your system. If you can, and you can email me because you're in the Miraculous Academy, email me. It is showing to do a detox too, like lots more water, and then lots of like the intermittent fasting is actually showing good to do a quicker detox. Now you can do that when you're ready, and I can explain that for you, but I'm just going to put it into the body. Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll move chemicals, toxins, emotions, and mental. How's your body feeling there? Does that feel a little better?
I actually had a lot of itching, and it reminded me of when I had shingles.
Yeah.
So I was a bit worried about that.
Yeah.
And
And
pressure on the left side, there was so much that when you sleep, it would hurt.
yeah. Let me pull that back. Funny. I channeled today. It's always somebody within our community. I channeled a video for you guys this week that just came through this morning around healing the nerve endings. And it was probably, I'm looking at your energy. I'm like, I think it came from you. I'm like, that's because I had to come back. I wasn't going to channel it. I came back and I'm like, what? And it just started coming through. I'm like, okay, I got to sit down and get that out. So I'm going to pull that energy back a little bit more, but I'm just going to go to the base. Now in the base of the spine, in the nerve endings there, I'm going to actually start to drop that energy now, and then you'll get a second boost. And I'm just going to pull the nerve endings back, and we're going to do a little bit more dissolving of toxins again. Okay. So that's going to run for about 24 hours. And then definitely it's showing for you. I know it's a lot to drink about 12 glasses of water if you can today. I know it's a lot, but I'm going to use it as a flush. If you can't drink that many, don't worry about it. I mean, cups, like not like full big glasses. Like most people forget that a glass of water is like almost 2 cups, right? So yeah. So I'm going to adjust that for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetheart. So will you please email me email me tomorrow and let me in the Miraculous Academy and let me know how that's sitting. Okay.
Definitely. I will definitely do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lots of love, sweetie, and to your family.
Lots of love to you too. Thank you so much.
Bye, sweetheart. All right. We're going to go to Jennifer from LA.
All right. Jennifer from LA. Jennifer, you are on with Tracy L Clark.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much. Wonderful to get to speak to you. And the perfect question popped in my mind when you're talking about body.
Yeah.
So I've been trying many things to help my daughter. She's 19 with major pain with her period.
Oh, yeah.
And we've tried many health, holistic methods. Was not working. We finally did go to the doctor. Of course, they only say take the birth control.
Yeah.
Which did help, but it's not what we want to do. So she did stop it, and it got worse again.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, no, those are, I call her my other daughter. My youngest daughter's 23, and they've been in grade 9. They met in grade 9. And she experienced that where literally she would miss days of school because she couldn't get out of bed. And
yeah.
It got better. And then it was interesting. It started up again, and we were all in the Dominican, I think it was about a year and a half ago. So it was the last Christmas we were allowed to travel. And it started up again. And I said, and she was in a big transition in life, right? With school, university, and change of life. And a lot of,
actually, that's the thing with my daughter too.
yeah, this is
She's
why
in
I'm telling you
university
her.
and just not wanting to do that.
Yeah. And
Say
this
again?
is why when I bring up somebody else, it's so you can have a comparison, because you can see that that's what's happening with her.
Yeah.
And then we were able to, so a few things I did with her, and then it settled out again. And this is what happens is, so the energy of our reproductive area is our power zone. It's our life, in terms of creation for work, career, babies, family. So when the body goes into these big transitions and the hormones start to shift, a lot of times there's, and we can start to move some of this for her, there's energy that'll come in when we start to get our periods as well, that will bring up lots of information from the past life veils around what it is to be a woman, the understanding of a woman, the expectations. And usually people that have a lot of, and she has some of this, so we can start to remove it, that have a lot of cramping and pain. It has a lot more to do with just hormones. Yes, if they get rid of sugar and caffeines and stuff like that, it will help to a degree, but they have to look at what is the emotional part. And so often we're not looking at that, which is, what does it really mean to have to go out in the world and decide what those, like right now, like let's push it. It's like, one, people don't know where they're going, but it's always like, I think it's up here, it's like grade 3. Well, what do you want to do when you go to university? How many kids know what they want to do? Like, really, most people, we don't figure it out till we're like 40.
Yeah.
So this brings,
we have been doing things to address that, and I'm glad that you mentioned about the food, because we have also, I've talked to her about that, but now it's to the point where she, even when it's not during PMS or around the cycle at all, she can't eat. She takes a few bites and she begins to gag and she can't eat.
Yeah.
So now she's at the point where she's only keeping down sometimes sugar, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I've tried, several natural things, like I said, but also energy work to help clear that, and then addressing her emotional things, which I talked to her again that she wants to delve into to try to clear that. But she's not being able to eat as well. When then there's low energy, then she's in the bed longer, and then she's not motivated to do things, and it's a cycle again.
I'm going to actually start to remove some interference energy. So it's not uncommon that it will attack the power zone. So respiratory, right? Basic, where we breathe in life. Digestive is digesting life. And then the power zone, that's that, career, babies, that's money flow, stuff like that. So let's actually just, what's her first name?
Monera.
Okay. I'm going to actually reconnect. Let's start to reconnect the respiratory, digestive, reproductive. And we can just do some base things right now with adjusting her chemical electrical frequency pattern. A lot of times when those get off, the communication from the right side of the brain to the left side of the body and vice versa, they are not as strong. And then the other centers get kicked off. So the reproductive gets kicked off, and then you can find your digestive can get kicked off, and then your respiratory, because they're all talking, they're all moving through. So let's see if we can just readjust her chemical frequency. I'm going to remove a bunch of weaknesses out of the field and interference energies. And let's see if we can just strengthen her. Now, her bedroom also needs to be readjusted. So I'll just do that energetically, feng shui, if she wants to move some things around. That's not a bad idea. I know it sounds funny, but just needs to be, she needs a little bit more light in there. And she has stuff to do with smells. We have to increase her smells as well. I mean, good smells, not like, pungent. That's also going to activate the central nervous system. She gets very stressed very quick. She reads actually energy quite well. She's very, very open.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Also, I can put it out there. It's showing. She was on my show last week. She also needs somebody to understand sort of what she's doing. I have a young girl. She's 20. She was on the show last week, if you listen to her with her journey, and she's always talks to other young kids around going through stuff with their empowerment now. You can always email the office. We can put you guys in touch if she wants, but I'm just going to recenter this, because as her body's really stressed about what's happening, like in terms of what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Like it's over stressed. Like no wonder she's cramping to get, so when you have a period, right, it's fluffing off, it's life force energy that's releasing out of the body that you don't need anymore. It's cleansing, it's cleaning, and it doesn't want to cleanse and clean either. So I'm going to command her lumbar vertebra to just see if it'll go back and to rotate, and we'll pull out the leg and the muscles, ligaments, tendons a little bit more. And I'll see how much of that she'll take. And then we'll put a little bit of safety in there so she can have a little bit more empowerment. She's kind of pushing me back on that one, which I'm not surprised, because she's trying to decipher.
Tracy is pushing back?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised because she's trying to decipher what's, like, literally, she's trying to figure out what and I want to keep going to the next 10 years. Like, what is the next 10 years? And I got to bring the body back to what happens just today, right? So the cramping can start to release and let go. Wow.
Is there anything that you see that we can do to help her?
She can also maybe, yeah, I know. We can strengthen the body. Some of the stuff, she looks really strong to some of the Bach remedies. That has to do with transition and change, which also, it's a homeopath. You can just get it at the health food store. Not sure if you've taken them, but she looks good on the one that's coming up for her is Mimulus. So I can actually, and if you even have a little bit of it, they're like $10. You buy them at the health food store, but this one's I'm going to put into her system as well. Yeah. And I would keep working on, okay, rather than looking out 10 years, increasing the awareness around how good the sensitivities are, and then the muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints, and hoping as we pull those down, that should actually calm that down a little bit more. She's pretty sensitive to medicine, so I'm not surprised she went off the birth control too. Funny, we're talking about toxins, her body's. And we're going to just readjust how she eats.
I was considering a German device that has like 144,000 frequencies for the body in a myriad of topics.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if that would help her.
Like a scalar device? Is it like scalar?
It's frequencies to put into the body to help. Yeah,
it's like it looks like a scalar. Yeah, actually, those are very good. I really like them, actually, especially because she's young and sometimes they don't want to look at what's really happening in that emotion space and that trauma. And that says we're lifting out more of the stuff, like really cutting stuff from the veil is easy. She just has to recognize that, and the empowerment for her, it's getting strong in her empowerment. That's like the biggest thing. And when kids are feeling very empowered and moving forward, believe it or not, a lot of times, like I was just telling this other young lady, the cramping goes away. So, and when they start to see transition is not as hard as it is, and growing and changing. And so every time those cycles come on, it's going to hit a different level: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, or psychic. So sometimes it's just easier to use the technology, but also still have the conversations of what she's dreaming about and what's coming out of the body. So she can even do the reset tool where it's like on the heart. I would say, thank you, God. It's whatever, universe, divine, reset, let go, which will also allow the heart drive. And it's on my YouTube, but it helps you align the heart drive to get stronger so the body can recalibrate quicker as well while she's going through frequency changes.
So you see that something like this would be an assistance moving her forward?
Yeah, they're actually very good. I always say to people, if you have, they're fabulous. There's many different, I know there's many different technologies like that, and they're actually really good for the body. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very good for the body.
Or maybe 100%. Like emotion code things of clearing trapped emotions in the body or anything like that to help her?
Yeah, all of it, if she's willing to do it, will help to release the system out, because that's what that is, right? It's that deep transition of change that the body's holding on to, that's having a very hard time letting go. So every time she gets a period, it's a reminder of, change is pain, and suffering, and cleansing is suffering. And that's what we're asking the body to mitigate. So, and also the lumbar vertebra, sacrum, sacroilium at the bottom, if it's not sitting in the right place, that's also where the pain and the trauma comes from too. So that's why I was asking if she'll take it from a distance to rotate it. I do that as a hands-on when I see people, but we can rotate it. Yeah, it helps. big time.
Is there anything particular that's trapped into her, like the feminine organs that's causing this, like emotionally, energetically?
Yeah, there's quite a bit in there, but that's why I said we'll start and see how she feels with this. And then, there's a lot of the past life veil energy is the first one that we move through. Like I said, it's empowerment, it's strength, it's trusting that she's moving in the right direction. It's trusting that everything is flowing the way it's supposed to flow, and to really embrace that feminine energy of that flowing in the right direction. So just reminder of that for now. Okay.
Yeah. That's actually what we've been working on, because she said she's not
keep doing it.
being a woman.
I know. No, it's hard. It's hard right now. It's hard space and a hard place to be. And that's that empowerment. Exactly. And until you embrace that part and look at all those past life energies that are leaving right now, that it's not safe and it's dangerous and there's all this confusion. And once that starts to come out of the body, it grounds into where it's supposed to be. So keep moving that. And I'm hoping that she'll take these shifts and just let it go, that it is safe. It is a good place to be. And there's a lot of love and kindness in there and contribution that she can be to the whole world, which would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Tracy.
you so much.
Love.
You too. Have an incredible day. You know what? I want to thank everyone. Thank you. You know what? It's great when you all call. I know we still had people on the phone. I'm sorry. We got to go. My producer's like, got to go. Call in next week. We're going to do another show. So many in-depth things that come in, and I try to answer as much as we can and shift it. But again, it's like this process and this journey of unlocking, and one thing comes in the other. So if you want a real mastermind group with people that are, with you every day, 7 days a week, that's the Evolutionary Academy Mastermind. I hope you'll check us out, where we talk everything from grounding, foundations, to God, to money, to you name it, we got it. And you have major support, and it's kept small for a reason. If you want other kinds of support, shifting 5 days a week, that's the Miraculous Academy, which is a junior version of the Evolutionary Mastermind. But again, support, love, Telegram groups for everything to help you, because as I know on the radio show, we can only get to a little bit. But if you want full on 24-hour, 7 days a week support, we got that going now. So check us out, tracylclark.com. Come and enjoy us. And check out our next Soul Sunday in May coming up soon. And we send you a whole bunch of love. And we will next week have another call-in show to take care of what your questions are. So please, before we go, do not second guess what you're putting in your body. Just don't be blind faith. Ask, why are you doing it? What's the reason? And see how you feel. Lots of love. Have a great day, guys. See you next week. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L Clark Show with me, Tracy L, where I teach you how to connect to the God consciousness so you can unlock your superpowers and connect at light speed and live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where together we will unlock the secrets of your body and your life. As a founder